Good to see so many of you interested in understanding how to approach answer writing in geography, right? But before I start this session with you, a few things I would like to know in terms of the composition of this class. How many of you have completed geography option study at least once? Excellent. Right. How many of you are new to this? I mean, just started along with your PT. हाँ पीटी अच्छा हो गया तो डिसाइड किया कि हाँ यार अब हाँ सीनियर से पूछते हैं व्हाट ऑप्शन टू टेक तो somebody said geography take हाँ take geography easy syllabus technical in understanding all these are misnomers by the way हाँ so easy to understand very technical straightforward manageable हाँ ये सब सुना होगा now all these are respective terms right. So whether it is manageable, whether it is technical, whether it is easy to understand, or it is only human or whatever, it's pretty much a relative term with respect to all of you, right? So some of you might find it easy to understand some parts, some might find some other parts to be easy to understand. So I won't get into those details, but the purpose of this session would be first with an assumption that you know geography, right? So I won't be starting with geography से का मतलब क्या है, right? And all those things. What is the syllabus exactly like? Why are they, all those what and why and what I mean by plate tectonics, what I mean by Nelson's model, what I mean by, right? I won't be getting into the topics to understand every topic because that's not the purpose of this session. The purpose of this session is once you have done, that's why I asked how many of you have read it. Once you have read the whole syllabus, एक बार आपको जब ये once you get this feeling that I know this, at least I have read it. After that, what to do? ठीक है? So with this kind of an understanding, let's start with this session, right? Of how do you approach answer writing? But answer writing, do you think the story starts with answer writing directly? Let me ask. जितनों ने पढ़ाई like as all of you have already read. So should I say directly that this is, let's start directly with answer writing. This is what your answer structure should be like. ऐसा ऐसा कर दो, done. If that was so easy, आप यहाँ आते ही नहीं, isn't it? After studying the whole thing, after doing your assignments, after submitting your assignments, getting your feedbacks in your respective institutes, wherever you might have done geography, you still feel there is a gap in what I am doing and what I am expected to do, right? And that is where your approach to answer writing comes into play, isn't it? Right? But how to write an answer is the last thing, right? It is like performing in the Olympic. देखा था ना Usain Bolt, 9, 3 into 3 gold medals, right? So the race that he won, the last ones, or anyone for that matter, right? Even our Olympians, they performed that day when they won the medals. They performed, right? But that performance was not what they did then and there only, right? They did not perform that way. एक दिन उनको दिमाग में आया ओलंपिक जाते हैं, वहीं पे सीधा परफॉर्म करेंगे, ऐसा तो नहीं हुआ ना. They performed because they put in lot of hard work, right? They tried to understand how every fraction of a second I need to save, where I need to improve my strategy, right? So it becomes part. There's to that 10-second performance or a 20-second performance or a 30-minute, or 2-minute performance. There are parts which they understand and put a lot of labor to, organize it. I hope you understand this, right? And this is what your answer writing skill is also about. Answer writing skill is not about taking up your pen and writing and creating an excellent answer. If you are a, I should say, genius, with many people it happens, right? I know lot many students in all the last 15 years of my association with this civil services preparation who have never written an answer earlier, right? One of the earliest examples I recall was one Mr. Pankaj Kumar, All India 72 rank 2004, right? He was an IITian, IIT Kanpur ka tha shayad, ya something. Revenue mila, did not apply for IPS, IAS or Seedha Revenue. Revenue he got selected. So he wrote his first answers. I'm giving you one example. He wrote his first set of answers directly in the mains, right? And he got selected. उसके पहले आंसर लिखा ही नहीं उसने. Second attempt for improvement, did not clear mains. ठीक है? So that is the level of ambiguity which exists, right? You might just perform on some days and it might not click, right? I hope you get this, right? Now that was just one example. And then there are n number of people who go on performing and go on improving. One good example of this would be, I think, All India rank 2000, All India rank 1, Nagraj. सुना है नाम ये? कितनों ने सुना है? Huh? So he got his first attempt, highest score in geography, 400 plus. When he got All India first rank, his score was 330 something. Right? Every attempt his score went down and his rank improved. Okay. Ultimately to get All India first rank. Right? So what happened to his answer writing skill? When you're writing and writing, you're supposed to improve your score, isn't it? That's why you're writing. Otherwise you'll stop writing and write directly. Right? But then, as I say, there is no one way of finally saying this is the way, wahi likho, kaam chalega, ya likhte raho, kaam chalega, whatever. But what we generally expect is that, let us say, if I'm not able to write a good answer, I'm supposed to do a few things and that's where I will improve. So I will practice, right? And that is what your approach to answer writing is all about practicing answer writing, right? Okay. Now, how is answer writing? I wouldn't talk in general about answer writing. That's a different session, right? About your GS answer writing and all. The purpose here is answer writing for geography optional. Okay. Now, is the purpose only this much, or the purpose is something much more specified, more specific to this? Tell me. क्या मतलब आंसर राइटिंग के लिए आए हो या आंसर राइटिंग टू कुछ और इसको क्वालिफाई? शुड वी क्वालिफाई द स्टेटमेंट? हाँ, that is the aspiration. I'm not talking of your aspiration. What you want to achieve after you write an answer and once it gets checked. That's not what I'm asking. You want to write an answer just any answer, or UPSC answer starting from 2005 or UPSC answer starting from 2015? कौन से आंसर्स लिखने हैं? एक्सप्लेन आइसोस्टेसी, हाँ 30 मार्कर, ऐसा आंसर लिखना है? पूछ ही नहीं रही यूपीएससी. दैट एरा इज ओवर, isn't it? Right? They do ask you. It's not that they are not asking. Last year also, if you will see questions, they did ask some relatively simple questions. They were there, but that very simple era of answer writing is over. Right? So very simple answers do not take you anywhere nowadays. Right? And the second thing is that the questions are becoming more and more specialized. Yes? How many of you have seen last year's question paper? How many of you remember last year's question paper? To some extent. At least 50% of the questions. Excellent. How many of you have written mains last year? Okay. Take up the ones who remember some of the questions. What were the questions? Let's start with the paper 1. First question, second question, kuch yaad hai? Come again? Okay, good. So there was a question which said, discuss the contributions of the American School of Subaerial denudation. It did not ask you geomorphology, right? That's a different question. American School of Geomorphology क्या sub part है ये, right? The question was American School of Subaerial denudation, right? Now, what is denudation, by the way, and what is subaerial denudation, and what is American School, and what is the other school? If they are saying American School, that means there has to be some other school. And does the American School only include Americans? Huh? And is the question same as American School of Denudation Chronology? Is it asking you what Stroller gives you in that table of denudation chronology, or is it asking you subaerial denudation? Is there a difference between them? Right? Yes. See here, I asked you, you said syllabus done, sir. At least one syllabus done. Yes. What is it? Okay, let me छोड़ देते हैं question. आएंगे, we'll come back to this question. Let me take some other question. और बोलो कुछ. हाँ? Copen's classification and CS type, if I'm right? Right? So they asked, explain Copen's classification and explain the characteristics of one of the types. The ones who know, anyways, most of you know. Right? Now was that a simple question or a complicated question? How will we rate this? Let's understand the paper. Right now what I'm doing is understanding the paper with you. Right? So that you also try to understand and bifurcate. Do not say the geography syllabus has become, or the paper has become completely out of syllabus. No. Subaerial denudation is there in your syllabus. Right? What is the syllabus for that matter? क्या syllabus है, sir? Geography syllabus. How many of you remember? How many of you have seen? As always, सबने देखा हुआ है. हाँ? How many of you remember? कितने topics हैं geography syllabus में? 10 topic हैं. Paper 1 कौन सा? Start with? कितने topics हैं geomorphology में? कितने topic हैं geomorphology में? 20 topic हैं. पक्का? Around नहीं चाहिए मुझे. इतना syllabus करने के बाद भी around 20 नाम बोलोगे? मैं बोल रहा हूँ 2 कम है. 18 टॉपिक हैं जियोमॉर्फोलॉजी के सिलेबस में. There are 18 topics. How does it start? First one, factors affecting land form. Right? It says land form or landscape? Land form. Landscape कहाँ है? Topic number 13. Landscape development is topic number 13 in your syllabus. Landform development is topic number 1 in your syllabus. Factors affecting landform development. What is a landform, by the way? Very simple. Does denudation fall under landform development? Does denudation lead to landform development? What are the types of landforms? What are the groups of landforms? Hierarchy of landform? Relief? कुछ ध्यान है ऐसा? First order relief, second order relief, third order relief, कुछ सुना है सर? Yes, first and second order reliefs are created by what forces? Endogenic. Second order are created by exogenic. Exogenic includes what all? So that's where your geomorphic processes come into play. Yes or no? What are geomorphic processes? Geomorphic. The word itself gives you the definition. Geomorphic. Morph or change of the land, right? So geomorphic processes include exogenic and endogenic. Exogenic include denudation. That's where your denudation comes into play, right? What is denudation? Now different scholars, if you see Woolridge and Morgan, they say denudation includes or subaerial denudation. Right? So subaerial is denudation within an area. Right? What does that include? It says it includes weathering, transportation and deposition. वो यही 3 बोलते हैं. आपका NCERT जबकि पढ़ोगे तो कुछ और बोलता है. It adds more. It adds mass movement. Remember? So you have to get into your syllabus. I just want one thing to you to understand here, that it is your syllabus, right? And UPSC is still asking every question, right? I'm opening this challenge to you. Give me one question in last 3 years which is not from your syllabus. It's only that earlier they were asking questions directly. They were picking the syllabus line and creating a question. Now they are getting into the syllabus and asking you questions. So you have to get into your syllabus now, right? Landform development does not mean only landform development. You have to get into the processes of landform development. You have to understand what is the basic meaning of denudation. Nahi pata hota hai. Let me assure you, I've seen answers where people are not clear about what is denudation, what is the difference between erosion and weathering also, जबकि वो GS का topic है. It's not even optional. Sub-aerial denudation तो फिर भी आपको अंदर जाना पड़ेगा. Right? Let me take you another question. I think last year, not last year, this was 2014. They asked you a question about incised meanders and entrenched meanders. Remember? Right? What is the difference? कहाँ दिया हुआ है? Entrenched meanders कहाँ दिया हुआ है? सबसे basic book. NCERT. Entrenched meanders दिया हुआ है उसके अंदर. Incised and entrenched meanders. Ingrown meanders नहीं दिया हुआ है. Yes? Right? So you have to figure out, अच्छा entrenched है तो और कौन सा type of meandering is there? Right? And that is also given. It's not, it is not given. It is given in your optional books. You just have to read it. Right? Now you cannot leave meandering क्योंकि meandering is a type of your mature stage. छोड़ दो यार, Davis cycle में कर लेंगे. Davis में we just need to remember meandering, that's it. No. UPSC is getting into it. And they are not getting into it now. They are getting into it for a few years now. Right? 5-6 years back they asked a question, weight triangle. देखा है syllabus? Question paper. Weight triangle नाम का कुछ देखा है? Right? That was a specialized question. They got into the models and asked that. Right? Many people did not know weight triangle hota kya hai. But it's not that is not given. If you read even your basic book, it is given. Weight triangles are mentioned in your basic books. Right? So UPSC is doing this for some time now. They are getting into the syllabus, and therefore, for geography, I do not know about other options. I am not talking of any other option. Here, I am only concerned about geography. Geography, the syllabus is still relevant. You have to know your syllabus a bit more than what we have been doing till now, superficially. 18, that's why I asked you how many topics are there in your geography option. 18 topics. But when you prepare geomorphology, it will not be 18 topics. It will be more than 18 topics because those 18 topics will further break down. Right? You have to get into the climate's effect. Right? Let's say if I'm only talking of landform, what is the effect of climate? What are the types? What are the processes involved in landform development? Don't consider एक landform development का एक sheet बन गया हो गया. That's not enough. Right? That might not help you solve those finer questions. Right? Now, how do I solve? Okay, sir. So, sir, are you saying that we have to get into every topic and the subtopic and know the syllabus? Then we are doing a, opening a Pandora box. Are we opening a Pandora box? No. That's where I will bring you to answer writing back. How geography answer writing is different from other option writing, right? Like, let's say economy or history to some extent. History भी उतना मैं नहीं बोलूँगा because history you need to know. Geography, the fact that the good thing about geography, and this is also the bad thing about geography, is either you know the content or you don't know the content. Right? You cannot create content there. You cannot create what is incised meander. If you create, सबसे पहले who will understand? You and then the examiner. The moment he will see the sheet. And the worst part, you create 150 words, he goes through the whole thing and then he says, idiot. Right? And then gives you a 0 or a 1, but that 0 and 1 is not only to that question. That is an impression that you have created in the minds of the examiner. That, sir, I can speak on topics where I do not know anything at length and try to fool you, knowing very well that you are a learned person. So that shows you what? Your character. Sir, अगर मैं यहाँ आपके साथ ये कर सकता हूँ, ठीक है, which is the most important exam and the most important hour of my life, तो मैं कभी भी कर सकता हूँ, ठीक है? So the test is not only a test of your knowledge, it's also a test of your character, right? And how do you show your real character or the character that you want to portray? Selection of questions, right? What does that mean? You need to know what I know. This is called as intellectual integrity. You know what you know, and you also know what you don't know, right? It's not that I don't know what I don't know. You know that I don't know this, right? Please understand this. You should know what you know in your syllabus. You should know what you don't know in your syllabus. Identify those areas and try to know the areas that you don't know. That's how you prepare. That's your content. Answer writing will not happen directly there. Answer writing, there is no universal, sheet I can hand you over in these 2 hours and that will work. This will not happen. What you need for your answer is the content. And in geography, the content is hidden in your syllabus. You have to read your syllabus. You have to know how much content I know. Now, how do you organize? So in that case, let's bring down the topic to content. What is the importance of content? And how much of content you need to organize? How do you organize content in geography? कैसे organize करेंगे? Content, let's come to content, discuss content for 5 minutes. We will take up topics on contents. I'll take from every part of the syllabus and we will discuss. But first of all, how do you, this is a meta thinking about your content. So how do you organize your content? पढ़ाई तो सबने कर ली है. Geography content, कैसे organize करेंगे sir? Waiting. Huh? Context. Thank you. What more? Textbook, notes, printed material. I know all of you have. I know what is lying on your shelf. My name, it's not needed. है ना? कौन कौन से इंस्टीट्यूट का मटेरियल है, किस इंस्टीट्यूट का कौन सा सेक्शन वाला मटेरियल है, वो भी पता है. ठीक है, ह्यूमन ज्योग्राफी किसका उठाया है, फिजिकल ज्योग्राफी किसका उठाया है. ठीक, इसके बियॉन्ड तो स्पेशलाइजेशन नहीं है ना शायद, या इससे भी ज़्यादा कर लिया है. मतलब मुझे लास्ट इतना ही पता है. यस, फ्रॉम दोज सोर्सेज हाउ विल यू ऑर्गेनाइज योर कंटेंट? टॉपिक वाइज. ओके, गुड, दैट इज discussed topic wise. But within a topic, what do you do? Let's say take any topic, or for that matter take meta topic. Any topic, what things do you need for your answer? That depends on what kind of questions they ask on any topic. That depends on what is the hierarchy in which you can divide all the questions that UPSC asks. So you can organize those questions. You can say questions. There are questions which are straight, there are questions which require analysis, and there are questions which require you to give your ideas, right? So that's how you can organize these questions into 3 levels, right? And that's where all those words, kaun se? Discuss, comment, elaborate, elucidate, ये सब सुना है ना? ये सारे words को आप 3 ग्रुप में डिवाइड कर सकते हो. Simple, which are the simplest? Elaborate, सबसे सिंपल है. इलैबोरेट, एन्यूमरेट, कौन सा सबसे सिंपल कौन सा है? एक्सप्लेन नहीं, आई थिंक एक्सप्लेन से भी सिंपल है कुछ. एनलिस्ट, राइट? एनलिस्ट द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स. एनलिस्ट मीन्स they are just asking you to list it, simple. They are not asking you to apply your brain, right? But the moment they ask you to explain, that's where they want you to not only enlist. वो 12 पॉइंट्स नहीं लिखने हैं. ये नहीं लिखना है कि रोस्टोव के मॉडल में स्टेजेस कितने हैं और हर एक स्टेज में टेक ऑफ स्टेज का प्री कंडीशन क्या है. डू यू गेट दिस? दे आर नॉट आस्किंग यू टू लिस्ट, दे आर आस्किंग यू टू एक्सप्लेन. So first is the lowest level words, right? Lowest level only require fact. That's it. Second level is explanation. That requires understanding. And third level is analysis. Once you are able to explain, the next level goes into analysis or critically analyze. Do we understand this? So those are the next level. Analysis means, sir, this is my explanation of the topic and this is my analysis. Analysis means that's what I am able to understand out of this. Right? For example, question last year का ही उठाइए, मल्टी लेवल प्लानिंग के ऊपर क्वेश्चन था. Remember? Right? What does it say? Discuss or analyze something like this, multi-level. Okay, I think that was another question. Right. So yes, let us say this question. Statistics are necessary ingredient of development planning. Okay. Which part of your syllabus does this question fit in? Is it only planning? Is it only statistics? Where? क्या क्या पढ़ा है आपने syllabus में इस topic से related? Let me ask you. Now that she has thrown the question. Where all does it fit in your syllabus? I'm just asking you, where all does it touch in your syllabus? Only this much. अभी आपने मुझे बोला 10 टॉपिक है सर पेपर 1 में, 5 इन सेक्शन बी. कौन कौन से हैं 5? फर्स्ट वन इज पर्सपेक्टिव्स, सेकंड इज इकोनॉमिक, फिर सेटलमेंट एंड पॉपुलेशन एंड सेटलमेंट, देन इज रीजनल प्लानिंग. है रीजनल प्लानिंग के कौन कौन से कितने टॉपिक हैं याद है? लेट मी गिव यू अ टेलिस्मान. हाँ, जैसे आपका वो एनसीईआरटी के बुक में होता था ना. फर्स्ट, योर सिलेबस ओनली and only in itself can give you half your answer. Half your answer for almost any question. Specifically the human part of answers come from the syllabus only. If you just remember the syllabus, whether it is agriculture or it is industry or it is regional planning or it is models or thoughts, even thoughts, half the answer is there in the syllabus only. If you just remember the topics of your syllabus. How? The question says, in this case, statistics. Where does statistics fit in your syllabus? Just help me understand this. You have to say. मैं तो बोल ही सकता हूं. अप्लाई करिए सर, शीट खोल लीजिए, सिलेबस मस्ट बी देयर इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू. यू माइट बी हैविंग, आई वुड अज्यूम दिस मच, कि सिलेबस तो लेके आए होगे. कम अगेन. गुड. क्वांटिटेटिव रिवोल्यूशन, राइट? हाउ इज इट रिलेटेड टू क्वांटिटेटिव रिवोल्यूशन? What was the foundation of quantitative revolution? Why did it start? कहां दिया हुआ है? सबसे बेसिक कहां दिया हुआ है? उससे भी बेसिक एनसीईआरटी ह्यूमन ज्योग्राफी चैप्टर नंबर 1 पढ़ा है. 2 लाइन में दिया हुआ है वहां पे. राइट? डोंट डिपेंड टू मच ऑन वेरी हाई लेवल बुक्स फॉर योर कंटेंट. Very simple content at times helps you. One straight line answer. Right? What were the reason? Yes, as if you have said quantitative revolution, in case you can just tell, why did it start? Before that was the era of, okay, so the emphasis was more on getting into the regional understanding, right? And quantitative revolution helped in, what did it help in? Generalizing, systematizing, what else? Creating data for what? Capitalistic growth. Quantitative revolution का क्या वो है? Analysis. What does it help into? It helps in, what does it help in? Simple. model making, generalizing, model making, and helping in development, economic development, right? What does the question say? Question, अभी जो हमने बोला था, what does it say? Say. Why are statistics necessary for developmental planning? So statistics, very simply said, the whole idea of quantitative revolution evolved around development, right? But that development was only economic in nature, and that's where you find after quantitative revolution as a backlash we had humanistic geography coming up. Welfare, behavioral, we got into the human angle of it. Remember? ऐसे ही evolve हुआ था ना? Right? So can you relate here one part of this, right? That quantitative part with the developmental angle, and then you get into development and how we have planned development. So how do we plan development? You have the planning process, right? And how does the planning process for development go? It goes with what? Planning process for development. See, I will go on asking you questions, right? Because my idea is to first confuse you, right? Why? I always say this, the story of your going up starts with ignorance. So initially there is a stage of ignorance, after that there is a stage of confusion. So from ignorance you move to confusion, from confusion you move to clarity, and from clarity you move to application, and finally you come to wisdom. Wisdom is, you know what to do, but whether you want to do it or not, right? Deciding whether I should be doing this is wisdom. Application is just knowing. So your knowledge will take you this way, right? So first you have to be confused in your head little bit, then you will seek clarification. Then only you will seek clarification. If you are not confused, you will not seek clarification, right? So get confused with your syllabus, right? Confused means, how do I link? Many people come to me and ask me, sir, how do I relate paper 1 human geography with physical geography? How do I relate physical geography with human geography? How do I apply human geography fundas into your paper 2? Or how do I apply Indian geography information or case studies into paper 1? Okay, how will this happen? For this you have to first of all know your syllabus thoroughly, and you have to link them. You have to know, where does this apply? Where does any part of my perspectives in human geography apply? You don't, what are perspectives for that matter? क्या होते हैं? Yes sir. What is perspective? What is the meaning? Before I get into the content organization, what is the meaning of perspectives in geography? You know geography, right? क्या मतलब है? What have you understood perspectives as? क्या है? Starts with, कितने टॉपिक है perspective में? सबसे पहला areal differentiation, second regional synthesis, then environmentalism. Remember? Yes. So dichotomy and dualism and environmentalism. Then it goes on. You see all. Then you go through behavioralism. All this welfare geography. Finally, you come to quantitative, and after that you come to cultural regions. यही है ना? And finally, human development index. Indexes शायद mentioned है. Index है या indexes है? Index, right? So just human development index. What is all this perspective? है क्या ये geography में? What does perspective in geography? Why have they created this kind of a thing? How one looks at geography from different perspectives. ठीक है? Or how we look at geographical. So what is geography in that case? Human environment interaction. How do we see this human environment interaction from different angles? Where does the story start from? The first was, that's what you, क्या बोलते हैं उसको? Humanization of nature or naturalization of human? There are two terms. Remember? Naturalization of humans. Where did this whole perspective story start from? Naturalization of Humans. Why? Because initially nature was the dominant force. All of us know this, right? So initial perspective was how human adapts to the nature. यही था ना. All the scholar, if you read about your environmental perspective, they talk of this only. And then this perspective changed into humanization of nature, which was possibilism. What was possibilism? How human beings have changed their surrounding so as to suit them. Possibilism was this, yes or no? So these were two extremes, right? Humanization of nature and naturalization of humans. Then came in between. What was that? Good. What do we call it as? Right? So there was this stop and go. Right? Griffith Taylor, याद है? ऐसा एक नाम है आपकी बुक में. ठीक है? What does he or she? क्या था वो? He थे वो. ठीक है? So many people say, sir, मतलब because the word Griffith gives you an impression of a female, right? So Griffith Taylor, stop and go, medium path, right? Not completely environmental, not completely possibilism wala aspect, right? It was a midway path, right? Where did it go from there? Midway path. Who were the proponents? I would assume you know these names, right? One more thing that is important in geography is to understand the scholar names. You should have all the scholar names with their complete name. Don't only write Taylor. Don't only write Blaschet. Right? Give the complete name. अगर मार्क्स भी लिख रहे हो, लास्ट ईयर का क्वेश्चन था, मार्क्स थ्योरी ऑफ पॉपुलेशन इज ह्यूमनिस्टिक, राइट? सो यू ऑल्सो डोंट स्टार्ट विद मार्क्स, राइट द फुल नेम फर्स्ट, राइट? एंड राइट whether he was a geographer or whatsoever. Give a basic introduction. That's how geography people like it. Why? Because you have to, why are you writing the answer? किसको complete, किसको खुश करना है? हाँ? किसको खुश करना है सर? एग्जामिनर को. कौन है एग्जामिनर? Have you ever created in your mind an impression of the person to whom your copy will go? You should, don't we answer to who is asking a question? We generally answer to depending on who is asking me a question. So have you created an impression in your head? सोचा है वो आपका पूरा शीट किसके पास जाएगा? Who will be the teacher? A geographer, right? What will be the age? UPSC किसको बुलाएगा? Normally somebody in their mid-career, right? Not very young people, mid-career geographers. By the way, have you ever thought, is there any geographer in any university who completely knows human and physical together equally well? No university has these kind of professors, right? So in universities you have professors who are either physical geography professors or human geography professors. You don't have professors who are completely human and physical, and your one copy, paper one, doesn't go to two teachers. It's not that the physical part will be checked by a physical teacher and the human part will be checked by a human teacher, right? So basically whoever is checking your copy is a geography professor somewhere in his late 40s, right? Now go on, create this impression in your head. So late 40s geography professor, कहाँ से पढ़ा होगा उन्होंने? Whatever knowledge he will have of the geography that he will be checking for you, where will the knowledge for that come to him from? One, the library books. वही आप भी करते थे, है ना? लाइब्रेरी से बुक इशू कराते थे, पढ़ते थे, उतना नॉलेज लेते थे. Which are the library books those mid 40 people would have picked from their libraries? 1980s, 90s की लाइब्रेरी में. Do you get this? I'm trying to give you an impression of understanding of the person who's checking your copy, right? So you have to answer to that person's knowledge, right? He would like to see in his answers, whatever you present, he would like to see geography to some extent. He is not interested in आपका background क्या है. आप कुछ भी background के हैं, that's okay. But he would like to see some geography to the extent that he is able to recall one and he has been told about two. told about, because as I said, physical geography का teacher है, human geography का part भी आ रहा है, right? So he would be given some kind of a basic information set that in this answer, these are the facts that you have to broadly look into. It's not that it will be a model answer. They won't be given a complete answer that the answer has to tally this. That generally happens in GS, right? But in geography also, there will be some framework, right? So you have to match that framework. Now, his framework is an outcome of two things: the framework that UPSC gives and the framework that he has picked up when he was preparing. One. So that is the framework that you have to match. Second, what would be his expectation from you in terms of matching that? His expectation would be that you will give at least a basic understanding of the scholar, the idea, what is said, who has said, right? What are the main components of this? So these will be his expectation from you. Do we get? And these are the things that you need to put in your answer, right? So when I say you have to, when you are preparing a topic, your content, right? I took you to perspectives so as to make you understand that the same content could be seen in different ways. That is what perspective does, right? The same region you can see from an environmentalist perspective and figure out these are the environmental deterministic approach. You can see possibilism in that. You can see quantitative aspects in that. You can see the behavioral approach of people, right? You can see the welfareistic approach in terms of well-being, people's well-being, and also it depends on what you are seeing in a given region, and that is what perspective is, right? So perspective defines your way of looking at a region, right? Okay, so coming back to your content, as I said, how do you organize your content? सबसे पहला जो आप पूरा आपका 206 प्लस टॉपिक्स हैं, how do you organize it? सबसे पहले हमें क्या चाहिए किसी भी कंटेंट पे? Because your answer flows from your content. If your content is not there with you, as I said, in geography you cannot create content. Either you have it or you don't have it. So what will you organize your content as? कहाँ से start करोगे? सबसे पहले क्या चाहिए कंटेंट के अंदर? Yes, sir. First, do you think there will be a scholar associated with any content? Right? So the first thing you need to know is who is the scholar associated with that content, if there is a scholar, right? And which part of the world this aspect of geography started in, right? So scholar, one, if at all you know the school in the sense of whether he is an American. So in geography, what you will find is physical geography is broadly your American school, and the actually you have three schools. One is the British school, then you have an American school, and some people from the continental geographies or continental European also support the American school, right? And you have a German school to geography, right? So this is how you can divide it. You should be, if you can figure out which school, good enough. If you cannot figure out, at least the scholar, one. Second is the era, right? So when did he give? Whatever theory he gave, when was that theory simply given? Second. Third, if possible, what was the name of the writing? Right? For example, Nevin F. Feynman का जो concept है, what is the name of the writing in which you find it? The Circumference of Geography. Right? So you should be knowing the name of the article or the book, right, in which it is mentioned. For example, August Losch's writing is the economy of region, if I'm rightly recalling, something like this, right? One of his writings of 1950s is economy of region. I'll just cross check and tell you, right? So you should be knowing the books or writings heading also, if possible, and which is there. Mostly it is there in your books. What we do is we generally tend to forget, skip कर जाते हैं कि यार ये लिखने की क्या जरूरत. But examiners are impressed by these things. The name, the era, the writing. कौन सा book है उसका? ठीक है? You can also make an impression that I have read it. Let me tell you, half of these books are available in PDF format on the net. Whether it is Morgans or Losh or any of them, ये सारी की सारी available है, right? So बस just by writing that name and then writing a few lines about it, you create an impression in the examiner's mind that I have read it. आपने पढ़ा है नहीं पढ़ा उससे फर्क नहीं पड़ता, impression जाना चाहिए कि मैंने पढ़ा है. Do you get it? And these are the differentiators in your answer, right? So era and the name of economics of location hai. That book is economics of location, right? So name of writing. Okay, once you are done with the name of writing, then what is important is what is the background in which he wrote it? Why did he write it? Any theory would always have a background. The background will be क्यों कोई भी स्कॉलर कुछ भी लिख रहा है, क्यों लिखेगा वो? लेट मी आस्क यू, इतनी सारी थ्योरीज मॉडल्स आपने पढ़ ली है ना, क्यों लिखा है कोई सा भी मॉडल, कोई सा भी थ्योरी? हाँ, वेदर एलरिच का मॉडल है पॉपुलेशन, उसका कौन सा है, पॉपुलेशन का है, हाँ पॉपुलेशन, और एनी थ्योरी, एज आई सेड नेल्सन का थ्योरी है, जिसका भी थ्योरी उठाओ, व्हाई डू दे राइट इट? यस सर, why are theories written? Either an observation or some kind of support or criticism. यही तीन चीजें होती हैं. There won't be a fourth thing, right? So there would be an observation, which is I will call the background. So this is the background of your content, which is observation or criticism or support, right? So any theory scholar will write would be because of these things. After this, अब क्या है next? ये तो हो गया. उसके बाद before he gives or proposes whatever he proposes to say, he will make some assumptions. Right? Because in geography, every model has an assumption. Why is assumption necessary in models? क्यों necessary होता है model में assumption? Because you cannot include all the factors, so you would limit yourself to a given set of factors, and on the basis of that, you will propose your model or your theory, right? So you will make assumptions. जैसे कि models के अंदर सबसे common assumption क्या है? आइसोट्रॉपिक सरफेस, इकोनॉमिक मैन, ठीक है, ये ज्यादातर में है ही कॉमन. यू डोंट हैव टू रिमेंबर किस, मतलब किसने बोला, सिर्फ किसने नहीं है, कईयों ने बोला है, ठीक है. सो यू शुड, आई होप वी गेट दिस, राइट? सो सपोर्ट एंड देन यू कम टू नेक्स्ट सेट आफ्टर योर बैकग्राउंड इज योर, सो स्कॉलर 1, स्कूल एंड ऑल दैट, देन एरा, name of writing, background 4, then 5th is your assumption, right? That what set of assumptions have been made, right? After this, what do we have? After assumption in the content, I'm just helping you organize your content. After that, we'll get into the question approach, right? Because content नहीं होगा तो आपका आंसर कभी भी नहीं बनने वाला है. Let me tell you. Right, because these are the things that you miss on your answer and think that you can create an answer out of all this, beyond this, right? So after your assumption, next, can you go on giving me some examples also, so that you also know that you are on the right track? Assumption ka, do we understand assumptions? Okay, after assumption, what will the scholar give? Whatever his postulation is there, so he will give some postulation or his hypothesis, right? So there will come the hypothesis or whatever he postulates, or very simply said, whatever his theory is, whatever statement he intends to say, right? So there will be a statement, this, right? Once he has given his this, after that, अब क्या करेगा बेचारा? बोल तो दिया, अप्रेजल उससे पहले कुछ और है. बिफोर ही अप्रेजल इज डन बाय अदर्स, बट देयर, यस, एविडेंसेस, ही हैज टू सपोर्ट इट, राइट? बोल तो दिया, बट देन विदाउट सपोर्ट हाउ डज इट स्टैंड, राइट? सो नेक्स्ट कम्स योर evidences or examples or support whatever, right? So he will go on to give this evidence for this, whether it is Wegener's theory or it is plate tectonic or it is models, कहीं पे भी देखोगे you will find it, or it is perspectives, right? Everywhere you find examples given to support the yes or no, but you need to pick what are these examples. Do you create these examples? No. These examples are not the ones that you create. These are examples given by the theorist. Your examples will come later on, right? And we will introduce that in also into this. But first, these are examples which the theorist himself has given. भले दो ही हैं, but उसका example देना है. उन्होंने क्या बोला, कहाँ पे बोला. Do we get this? Right? After this evidence, next. Now, let me break this into two parts, right? Examples, evidences, and all this. For this, he would, in many cases, you will find that there are theoretical examples and diagrams, and there are practical. Practical means spatial examples. So theoretical examples and spatial examples दोनों दिए होते हैं, ठीक? Spatial will be this is where it has happened, and theoretical will be some kind of a diagrammatic representation. For example, Christoller's model, hexagonal shape, remember? So he worked down and said hexagon is the best suited shape so as to fit on the basis of whatever k values, and based on that he picked up those k values. So there was the theoretical example, and then to substantiate it he said where it happened. For example, Bavaria, remember Christoller's model, याद है कहाँ पे example दिया था? Bavarian, right? So you have to, that's where you have to add in that he gave the example here. After that you move into your examples, right? So what will be your example? Do we understand this? Theoretical example and practical example? Yes or no? Okay. Are there diagrams in this? Yes or no? There are. Theoretical तो है ही, practical diagrams हैं. उन्होंने diagram दिया है. Not always. But can you create it? Right? If you are saying Bavaria, can you make a small Europe and show where Bavaria and where that example lies? Yes or no? छोटा सा यूरोप बनाने में क्या लगता है यार? How many of you, that's where I bring you to the next part of your answer. How many of you are able to make world map? कितना टाइम लगता है? How many of you are able to make a world map in, this is the tough part, 30 seconds? Okay. How many of you can make me a South America in 5 seconds? North America, 7 seconds. Africa, 3-4 seconds. That is the level you need to achieve. ठीक है? कैसे बनेगा? बना सकते हो सर, राइट? ऑस्ट्रेलिया, नॉर्थ अमेरिका, Europe. Do you understand what I mean? Right? If you are not able to draw it in the time that I said, 3 सेकंड में अगर आप नहीं बना सकते तो आप 3 सेकंड में लिख दोगे. You have two options there. Either you write or you draw. And when you are running short of time, you will pick the simple thing. ठीक है? Simple क्या होता है? Without practice, right? So you will go on writing. बनाना भूल जाओगे. Whereas if you draw, now the good thing about writing, what is the difference between writing and drawing? From the same examiners, I am asking you, जिसने कॉपी चेक की उसके लिए आपकी राइटिंग और आपके ड्राइंग में क्या अंतर है? ड्राइंग गिव्स हिम द आंसर इन 2 seconds. 2 seconds. He sees your answer and he understands your answer. Right? Writing, he has to spend at least 30 seconds to read and pick and figure out words. इसने लिखा है या नहीं लिखा है, पता भी है. Do you get this? Whereas by flipping the page itself, he sees, इस question में what will he find? Suppose you are writing Christoler's model, right? Answer था question 2 साल पहले पूछा है. हाँ, सिंपल क्वेश्चन. क्या देखेगा एग्जामिनर कॉपी पलटा तो? सबसे पहला क्रिस्टॉलर का आपका नाम अगर पहले वर्ड में दिख गया कंप्लीट, क्या पूरा नाम था? वॉल्टर क्रिस्टॉलर, राइट? वेयर इज ही फ्रॉम? स्कूल लिख दिया आपने, जर्मन स्कूल. नेक्स्ट यू शो द थियोरेटिकल डायग्राम, हेक्सागन्स. ठीक है. आफ्टर दोज हेक्सागन्स व्हाट डू यू शो नेक्स्ट? द रीजन, राइट? यू ड्रॉ अ स्मॉल यूरोप and you draw Bavarian zone and show what he means. So you show those hexagons in that area and mark K3, K4, K7 models कौन सा वो है. That's it, right? So you have shown him those hexagons, you have shown him the region, everything. That's it. Examiner सिर्फ आपका वो पेज देख के समझ जाएगा this guy knows. You are not, and by doing this, what additional thing you are doing? You are not allowing him to read the whole answer. Right? What will be the benefit of that? What does your answer have? Those points where your score goes down from 8 to 4. ठीक है? तो आप उसको बस वो पढ़ने नहीं दे रहे हो. राइट? यही आपको करना है. आप उसे पढ़ने मत दो आंसर. Honestly. Right? Show him what he is looking for. That's it. नाम दिख गया, ईयर दिख गया, पॉइंट्स दिख गए, डायग्राम दिख गया, एप्लीकेशन. अब और भी कुछ करना है हमें. इतना तो आपने वो सब दे दिया जो कि इंफॉर्मेशन में है. अब हमें अपना नॉलेज भी तो दिखाना है. वी ऑल्सो नो समथिंग सर. दिस इज नॉट वेयर द स्टोरी एंड्स. राइट? हाउ विल आई शो व्हाट आई नो? यस सर, सेम क्वेश्चन. हाँ, क्या दिखाओगे? Applicability. Okay, so let me bring you back to this theoretical example, practical example. Now these practical examples you can divide into scholars examples and your understanding, right? So scholars example as we discussed, कहाँ पे हुआ आपने दिखा दिया. अब क्या दिखाना है? Sir, it's not only that I have read it, I have also understood it, and I have also understood where else is it applied. ठीक है? अब this model, right? What was this model by the way? Christoler's model था क्या by the way? Model of market. क्रिस्टॉलर, लॉश, मार्केट था, सिर्फ एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन था, ट्रांसपोर्ट था क्या? मतलब दे वर टॉकिंग अबाउट ट्रांसपोर्ट, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, मार्केट, और दे वर, और सर्विस, और प्रोडक्शन, और समथिंग एल्स, और दे वर टॉकिंग अबाउट हायरार्की ऑफ सेटलमेंट्स. इट वाज अबाउट सेटलमेंट्स, राइट? हाउ सेटलमेंट्स आर ऑर्गेनाइज्ड. यस और नो? सिलेबस में सेटलमेंट और कहाँ है? सेटलमेंट पूरा का पूरा टॉपिक है आपका. ठीक है? अर्बन सेटलमेंट्स, रूरल सेटलमेंट्स. लास्ट ईयर क्वेश्चन आया है. फॉर द सस्टेनेबिलिटी ऑफ अर्बन सेटलमेंट्स, रूरल सेटलमेंट इज ऑल्सो, सस्टेनेबिलिटी ऑफ रूरल सेटलमेंट इज ऑल्सो रिक्वायर्ड. इस टाइप का एक क्वेश्चन है लास्ट ईयर. रिमेंबर? यस और नो? ओके. डू यू सी सम लिंक? कुछ लिंक है? सो हाउ योर सेटलमेंट्स इज आर ऑर्गेनाइज्ड इज गिवन बाय क्रिस्टॉलर एंड लॉश. Right? Do they talk of any specific type of settlement, or do they talk of organization of settlements in terms of services, transport and all? Yes? So they are talking of how settlements could be organized in the best possible manner. If you see those settlements individually, what do they look like? What are they like? अर्बन और रूरल सेटलमेंट के अगर सेंस में हम आपसे बात करें, can you imagine something in terms of rural and urban settlement and those Christoller model settlements? Is there anything common that you see in a map? इंडिया का आपको एक पॉलिटिकल मैप दे देते हैं, डू यू सी समथिंग कॉमन? इज द मैप नॉट इक्वली डॉटेड एज द सेटलमेंट मैप ऑफ क्रिस्टॉलर? जो भी उनका हेक्सागोनल मॉडल है, इन दोज यू फाइंड हायरार्की ऑफ सेटलमेंट्स, राइट? सो यू हैव द स्मॉलेस्ट सेटलमेंट. व्हाट इज द स्मॉलेस्ट सेटलमेंट इन इंडिया? स्मॉलेस्ट सेटलमेंट आपकी कंट्री में पूछ रहे हैं सर. हैमलेट्स, हाउ मेनी डू वी हैव? 10 लाख प्लस. कहां पे दिया हुआ है? कहां दिया हुआ है? इंडिया ईयर बुक, इकोनॉमिक सर्वे, एनसीईआरटी. हाँ, अच्छा, हैमलेट्स के ऊपर चलो, उसके ऊपर विलेजेस, हाउ मेनी डू वी हैव? 6 लाख प्लस. उसके ऊपर चलो, व्हाट डू वी हैव in terms of organized settlements? Urban settlements, right? Because after these villages, what do you have? The urban settlements, right? Arranged as per census towns, or remember, in terms of population we have. And then if I go beyond that, what do I have? I have blocks, right? Block level settlements. Above that, what do I have? District level settlements. How many I have? 600 plus. Yes or no? Right? So do you see a hierarchy? Okay, do you see this layer? Who has talked about these layered settlements in India? Can you recall? Huh? Come again? No, that's geography. I'm asking in general. So what does the hierarchy of settlement of Christoller try to say? क्या बोलना चाह रहा है Christoller? That if you organize these settlements in this way, it becomes sustainable and organized. We can have these kind of organized, sustained settlement. Yes or no? Okay. What are these settlements? Nothing but different levels of hierarchies. Has anyone in India, not geographers, talked about making small settlements sustainable so that the bigger ones become sustainable? हाँ, उनसे पहले Mahatma Gandhi, in his theory of Swaraj, what does he say? Make the villages sustainable, independent for the services that they can be made. Exactly the same statement that you find in Weber, right? Smallest hierarchies, सबसे छोटा settlement, independent for what it could be made, and then interdependent at the higher level, right? So independent at the level you can make them, and then interdependent at the level that is required. Higher level you make them interdependent, but smaller level can you make them independent? Yes or no? Are we able to connect this? ये समझ में आ रहा है क्या बात कर रहे हैं? Right? I'm taking you to the application of Christoller's model. Right? So can you relate it to the idea of Swaraj and making the villages independent, so that independent and interdependent, so that the whole thing becomes sustained? That is what the theory was given for. वेबर ने ज्योग्राफी में, सॉरी क्रिस्टॉलर ने ज्योग्राफी में बोल दिया, गांधी जी ने ऐसे ही बोल दिया. ठीक है. और किसने बोला? एपीजे अब्दुल कलाम. द होल कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ पूरा सपोर्टेड बाय प्रोफेसर इमर्सन इन ज्योग्राफी, राइट? 2004 we have programs not in India but even in Brazil being run on the idea of Pura. What is Pura? What are those amenities, those services around which you organize them? Yes or no? So do you understand how you can apply? Right? You have to think. And can you create a diagram for this? Yes. And that is what your other set of diagrams are. Which ones? Right? Your diagram. You create, you show, this is how it can be done. Do we have examples? Yes, we have. Right? Many villages have come up in different places which have become independent. Independent on their power requirement. Independent on their, yes or no? So we are creating it. Do we get this? So that's how you can say that, see, any idea would not completely apply. It won't be a book application, but it will be some kind of application which you have to think and apply and write. These are the case studies that you people talk about. Sir, should we write case studies? Yes. This is the case study. This is the application that you can talk of. Do we get this? Right? So, can I assume that we understand what I mean by your understanding in this story? Right? And will your understanding also have examples? Yes. And can you draw these examples? Yes. Now, this approach of drawing your examples, we call, or I call, as diagram orientation. Right? You have to develop a diagram orientation. You don't have to develop diagrams. You have to develop an orientation to diagram. Means every time you think, you have to think, how does the diagram application orientation will develop? You have to think, does it happen somewhere? Right? There is nothing in geography that doesn't happen. If it doesn't happen, it's not geography. Right? So everything that you read in geography happens somewhere or the other. Right? So all you have to think is, where is it happening? One, if it is happening here, can I draw it? Can I make a small map and draw and show? Right? You can. For every, let me say, for every question you can. Quantitative revolution भी बना सकते हो यार. Right? You can show regions where quantitative analysis and studies have been done, on the basis of that development programs are implemented. Don't we have welfare geography? Don't we have, well, आपका वो जो है human well-being, right? Don't we have studies to show and examples which we can say? Huh? Yes or no? Can we create population में ही अगर आपसे बात करें, very simple. आपका demographic attributes एक topic है syllabus में. Remember? Demographic attributes, what does it say? Let's say there is a question, very simple. I think demographic attribute also there was a question asked. Discuss the importance of demographic attributes or something like this. What are demographic attributes? Where is it given? कहाँ दिया हुआ है? आपके syllabus में दिया हुआ है. Yes or no? Last year का question. Let me give you one more example. Last year's question. Importance of institutional. दीपक का आवाज गई. Importance of institutional factors in agriculture. Remember? Right? Where is it given? Institutional factors. Is it given in your syllabus? By the way, what are institutional factors? Yes, sir. What? Land reform, and this is the level of this is the level at which we remember our syllabus. Agriculture topic paper 2, that कौन सा number का topic है? Second. The first word in that is institutional reform, institutional factors, and within that there are 3 things given: land, holdings, tenure and reform. Institutional factors उन्होंने लिखा हुआ है सर आपके लिए. उसके अगला क्या लिखा है? इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चरल फैक्टर्स दिया हुआ है. हाँ, क्या है? वी थिंक इन द एग्जाम हॉल. हाँ यार, इंस्टीट्यूशनल कौन कौन से थे? आपका सिलेबस ही आपको याद नहीं है यार. इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चरल फैक्टर्स कौन कौन से हैं? माजिद हुसैन जी का एग्रीकल्चर वाला बुक के अंदर टेबल के अंदर उन्होंने कहाँ कहाँ लिखा हुआ है? ओ शिट, उन्होंने तो टेक्नोलॉजिकल फैक्टर्स भी लिखा हुआ है, बट सिलेबस के अंदर तो टेक्नोलॉजिकल फैक्टर्स इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के अंदर लिखा है. सी दिस, I'm giving you the discrepancy. If you read, Khuller does not give you institutional and all factors. Which one gives you? Majid Husain's and that book, right? If you read Majid Husain's book, he has given technological factors. But in your syllabus, those technological factors are included under seed fertilizer in your. कहाँ mentioned है? Seed fertilizers कहाँ mentioned है syllabus में? है? अब हो गया confusion. कौन सा factor है? जबकि syllabus is giving you clearly. So that's why please come back to your syllabus, remember, memorize. सिर्फ syllabus रट लोगे तो बहुत सारे points लिख सकते हो. I assure you, the ones who have not prepared any given topic of your answer, this is your again approach to your answer writing. Remember your syllabus thoroughly. If you just remember the agriculture sector syllabus completely, इंडस्ट्री का सिर्फ सिलेबस याद कर लोगे, रीजनल प्लानिंग का सिर्फ सिलेबस याद कर लोगे. लेट मी आस्क यू वन मोर क्वेश्चन. लास्ट टू लास्ट ईयर गैंगेटिक रीजन, स्टडिंग ऑफ द गैंगेटिक हर्थ is the best method of understanding the diversity, cultural diversity. Question था last to last year. याद ही नहीं है. I'm talking of the questions asked in 2014. That was a question. Cultural region, understanding the diversity of cultural region. Where is cultural region given in your syllabus? कहाँ दिया हुआ है? हाँ जी? Perspectives और दिया हुआ है. कल्चरल रीजन पर्सपेक्टिव्स के अंदर दिया हुआ है, राइट? और कल्चरल सेटिंग्स के अंदर दिया हुआ है. रेशियल डाइवर्सिटी, लिंग्विस्टिक डाइवर्सिटी. इफ यू रीड दैट यू विल फाइंड इन टर्म्स ऑफ द डाइवर्सिटी दे टॉक ऑफ, कौन कौन सा डाइवर्सिटी का वहां पे मेंशन्ड है? लैंग्वेज, रिलीजन, सेक्युलराइजेशन, ये सब मेंशन्ड है. डोंट यू अंडरस्टैंड द कल्चर इन टर्म्स ऑफ दीज थिंग्स? रेशियल, एथनिक, पेपर 1, पेपर 2 जो इंडिया वाला पार्ट है, मेंशन्ड है ना, राइट? सो और क्या डाइवर्सिटी चाहिए? इफ आई एम जस्ट एबल टू रिकॉल दैट द डाइवर्सिटी आई हैव टू टॉक ऑफ, आई हैव टू टॉक इन व्हाट टर्म्स? व्हाट टर्म्स? एथनिक, रेशियल, यू पिक फ्रॉम योर सिलेबस. उसके बाद लैंग्वेज, रिलीजन, यू पिक फ्रॉम योर सिलेबस. व्हाट मोर डाइवर्सिटी इज देयर? इफ यू आर एबल टू एक्सप्लेन जस्ट दीज, दैट्स इट, योर आंसर इज डन. नाउ हाउ विल आई रिप्रेजेंट दिस? Can you not create a diagram showing linguistic diversity within that Gangetic belt? वो कहाँ से आएगा? Indo-Gangetic plains, I'm asking. Yes. Linguistic diversity, Indo-Gangetic plains. Simple, sir. इतना बताइए. Indo-Gangetic plain itself is divided into regions. Which are they? Awadh. Remember? रोहिलखंड, बुंदेलखंड. डू यू रिमेंबर? बुंदेलखंड भी है? नहीं है. अवध है, रोहिलखंड है, मिथिला है, मगध है. व्हाट आर दीज? लिंग्विस्टिक रीजन्स और नॉट? यस सर. Am I telling you anything special out of the world? No. I'm just telling you what you know. How am I telling you to organize it? Just by knowing your syllabus, right? So as I said, I don't have a magic wand की copy में लगा दो और number आ जाएंगे. Magic wand से नहीं आएंगे. Can you not create? People ask me, sir क्या diagram बनाएंगे इसमें? Should I be telling you क्या diagram बनाओगे इसमें? Can you not create those linguistic things? Can you not create those religious divisions? Yes or no? कर सकते हैं ना सर? यही बनाना है. उसके बाद you get into the theory of it, right, of cultural regions, and you can say that this is part of this larger cultural region and then take up, right? So it's not that you only create an answer out of rubbish, matlab examples. You can, but you have to substantiate it with theories also. You have to substantiate it with scholars also. But either of them alone is not the answer. The answer is a mix of the two, right? And that's where your answer will give you half a mark more or 1 marks more, right? Every question, if you are able to get half or 1 mark more, right, कितना होगा total? How many questions are you attempting? इतना तो याद है ना? Good. 19, 5 और 9. ठीक है. 19 क्वेश्चन, 1 मार्क ईच. कितना डिफरेंस बन गया? ऑन एन एवरेज 0.75 भी जोड़ दो, कितना डिफरेंस बन गया? 16-17 नंबर. दोनों पेपर जोड़ दिया 35 नंबर. और इससे ज्यादा नंबर लाने हैं? इतने की मार होती है यार. दिस इज वॉट यू फाइट फॉर. सर आई डोंट गेट दीज मेनी मार्क्स, राइट? And where do you get it from? By improving your score by half a mark in every question. How do you improve that? Is half a mark difference perceptible in answers? Can you tell one answer from another answer in terms of that half a mark? Yes. By those examples, diagrams, links, that's it. This is the difference. right? So that's where you have to push. That's it. There is no other way of writing an extremely excellent answer. There is no extremely excellent answer. This session is not about extremely excellent answers. This session is about how to write an answer which can get me the marks that I aspire. That's it. उसके बाद जो improvement आपको अपना करना है, you do it, right? So going beyond this, you asked me some question. Did you raise your hand for something? For the okay. See, can you make India? चलो थोड़ा सा और बेटर बना देते हैं. कैसे बना दें यार इंडिया? How many of you can make? Okay. I make very technical diagrams, right? Why? I do not do zigzag. And I would suggest you also don't do zigzag. Why? Because you do the zigzag where they are not. मैप में होता नहीं है, आप सिर्फ अपना हाथ ऐसे ऐसे करते रहते हो, राइट? सो प्लीज अवॉइड दैट, राइट? ड्रॉ अ स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड सिंपल मैप. ओके, इंडो गैंगेटिक प्लेन, इफ आई डिवाइड, हाउ कैन यू डिवाइड दिस? सॉरी, लेट मी ऑल्सो ड्रॉ यू समथिंग लाइक दिस. ठीक है? सो राइट, एंड हाउ डज द गंगा फ्लो? जस्ट फॉर, नहीं यहाँ एक गड़बड़ हो गई, समथिंग लाइक दिस, राइट? सो हाउ डज द गंगा फ्लो? लाइक दिस, राइट? सो व्हाट इज द प्लेन? दिस होल बेल्ट. विच आर द रीजन्स? डू वी नो? ओके, डू वी नो वेयर इज रोहिलखंड? कैन यू मार्क अवध प्लेन? कैन यू मार्क द मगध? राइट? डू यू नो द स्ट्रेचेस? उस सब का सब आपका खुल्लर में दिया हुआ है, स्ट्रेच के साथ, फ्रॉम वेयर टू वेयर. दिस इज योर फिजिकल ज्योग्राफी थिंग, राइट? बट इट विल हेल्प यू ऑल्सो अंडरस्टैंड, इफ यू नो दीज रीजन्स, यू कैन ऑल्सो मैप इट विद योर लिंग्विस्टिक रीजन थिंग. यस और नो? दैट्स इट. सो कैन वी नॉट ड्रॉ? इसको आप 3 शेड्स डाल दो, सिंपल, अलग अलग, हो गया खत्म. यू शो द लैंग्वेजेस एसोसिएटेड विद इट, linguistic differences, right? Now there you don't have a, so there's a difference between language, dialect, all this also. I hope we know this. So that also you have to bring out, right? So Awadhi is not a language per se, right? So you have to go into those differences. Okay, so can we create this? Okay, now let's move beyond this. We were talking about the content because that is your answer. So kahan tak pahunch gaye? Evidences, theoretical example, practical examples of scholar, practical examples given by you. Beyond this, what is next? अब और क्या डालना है? After the evidences, what do we have in any theory or any idea? Evaluation, right? Evaluation will mean what different scholars have said about it, and it's right. So how can we talk in terms of the evaluation of this thing? So how have different scholars said? Either you will have people supporting it, or you will have people criticizing it, right? The ones who support it go on to do what? They do 2 things. One, they give additional evidence, right? And second, they extend them beyond the main theory and add up. For example, Daviscian theory, if you see, that is a fluvial model, but it has been extended even to glacial and other models by other scholars who have supported it, right? So that's how you will find that any model will be, by the supporters, it will be further extended and applied to different regions, right? So that is the additional support. Who are the critics? They will say nothing doing, fail, right? For that also they will give their evidences and examples, and from there you will have what? यहाँ से क्या निकलेगा? This will complete your cycle back to the beginning. Another theory, right? So from the criticism or the support, the next theory flows, right? He will go on to either. So if you see Christoller का theory, Losch ने criticize किया, went on to talk about it. Yes or no? So he gave his own examples and whatever, and that's how the theory went on to further evolve. Right? Harris model criticized by किसने किया था? कौन सा है हैरिस मॉडल? हाँ, कुछ याद आ रहा है थ्योरीज में? नो? चलो, you have to revise, right? Go back, you will find, as I said, for all the theories you will find one or the other scholar criticizing and coming up with the next thing. After this, so अब ये हो गया पूरा, criticism, everything is over. Next what? आप क्या लिखोगे? That's it. हाँ? What comes after, at the end of this? Next what? Huh? Huh? Limitations. Okay, so those limitations are nothing but what you write in your criticism, right? What else? Once this much of the theory is done, आप क्या लिख अपने notes में what will you write? Conclusion कैसे करोगे? What will be conclusion? Huh? Despite of the whatever lacunas, how has it helped in understanding and evolution, understanding of that domain, right? So that one line you need to write, how it has helped to evolve that understanding of that whole domain, whether it was a perspective or it was a model, how it has helped to evolve to the next. That is what you call as your administrative approach. ये exam क्यों दे रहे हो? Administration में जाने के लिए. What is the difference between a scholar's answer and an administrator's answer? Let me ask you this now. What will be the difference between a scholar's answer and an administrator's answer? And do scholar answers get a score? Let me tell you, in optionals, right, or for that matter in UPSC exam, a very scholastic answer does not get you a score, right? It's only the administrator's answer which get you score. What is the difference between these two? Scholar's answer will be on a completely scholastic plane, right? Administrator's answer would be about, I understand all this and this is how I will apply it, right? An administrator always thinks, is this applicable or not? How can this be applied? Scholars do not think in terms of application. What will be the limitation in the application? Where does it help, right? So that is your conclusion. How it helps in application. How it helps in taking the whole understanding forward, right? That is what you have to reflect. That again reflects your character. Plate tectonic, volcanic understanding, हाँ, वो जो आपका seismic waves है, उसका भी application है. What is the applicability of volcanoes? Let me ask you. हाँ, technical answer पूरा आएगा ना, जहाँ तक लिखोगे. Denudation chronology वाला ही answer उठा लो यार, simple. हाँ, how will you conclude? That American school of denudation chronology that we talked, not denudation chronology, subaerial denudation. How will you conclude? क्या लिखेंगे last में? So the American school, the American scholars went on to support it this way. That's it. खत्म कहानी. Application क्या है? या volcanic eruption, plate tectonic, क्या application है? If you understand volcanic activity, the evolution of life evolved around volcanic activity. If there was no volcanic activity, no life would have evolved. No atmosphere, no water. Yes or no? So if you better understand volcanoes, what can you do? One, you understand how the planet is evolving. Second, you understand at a smaller level how the soil of a given region can evolve. Java, Sumatra, all these islands, it is because of the volcanic eruptions there that the soil is productive, because of which you have, क्या होता है सर बताइए? It is कौन सा क्रॉप्स है? जावा आइलैंड, ठीक है. रीजन वाइज वो कौन सा जोन है? अमेज़न टाइप क्लाइमेट है, राइट? अमेज़न के अंदर हम करते हैं नहीं, वहां पे नहीं है इरप्शन, सॉइल नहीं है प्रोडक्टिव. डू वी गेट दिस, राइट? सो यू हैव टू अप्लाई application of knowledge. For anything there will be an application, and that is your conclusion. Do we get this, right? So with this kind of a thing, I would say this is how you should be approaching your content. Once your content is done एंड कितना बड़ा कंटेंट बनाना है, कितना बड़ा? यस सर, हाउ बिग? 2 पेज, 3 पेज, 4 पेज, 1 पेज, क्वार्टर पेज, हाफ पेज? Try to make a quarter page content. If not, then half page. If not, then 1 page. 1 page के ऊपर गया तो बेकार है. Cut it down. क्यों बेकार है? जिस दिन सुबह सुबह एग्जाम होगा, पेपर 1 के पहले 114 टॉपिक हाथ में लेके खड़े होगे, अगर वो 114 पेज से ज्यादा हैं तो देख भी नहीं पाओगे. Right? So they have to be short. And because of that, what will be there? Only keywords. And further refined, only diagrams. Right? There should come a stage where for every topic you just have a page on which you have only diagrams. And keywords. Name, word, year. बस इतना लिखा होना चाहिए. एक पेज के ऊपर 4 टॉपिक बने होंगे. वो आप डायग्राम देख के आपको याद आ जाएगा कि मुझे लिखना क्या है इसमें. Do you get it? So this is your content preparation. If you are able to prepare your content this way, you would be able to write something in the exam. Otherwise, it will be a hodgepodge. You will be overburdened with knowledge and the answer would not happen. Right? So try to organize your content in small, short, this thing. Is that okay? Right? If you are able to do this, that's it. So I think I have at length discussed how do you approach the approach to answer. In your answer, finally, what all? If we do a quick revision, क्या चाहिए? The content as organized. How would you start? Depending on the keyword, what do I need to put? Do I need to put an understanding first, or do I need to enlist any topic? Whatever. That's how you approach your answers, right? And finally, you get into putting those diagrams. As I said, without diagrams, without names, without fact, your answer is incomplete. And examples will not happen in the exam hall. Diagrams can happen, but examples will not. So when you are reading any topic, think, where is it applicable? Where is it happening? कहाँ मिलेगा? Where will you get this example for every topic? कहाँ मिलता है? Mobile. All of you have internet. Huh? You just put the keyword. I assure you, half the cases you will get examples on the net. Write that. कितना टाइम लगेगा यार? कोई सा भी टॉपिक उठाओ, 5 मिनट. एक दिन में 5 से 6 टॉपिक निपटा सकते हो एग्जाम्पल्स के टर्म में. ठीक है, लेकिन अब उसमें खो नहीं जाना है. यू डोंट हैव टू बी लॉस्ट. एक बार मिल गया तो अब आज स्कॉलर ही बन जाएंगे इस टॉपिक के. ठीक है, keep in mind that I have to spend only 5 minutes to figure out those examples, and then I have to move to the next topic. Right? So have your examples, put them at one place. That's it. That's your content. Right? Now, what next? So this was the general discussion. Yes, sir. Okay. So, see, I would say these questions are created to make you feel uncomfortable. Right? That is the purpose. वो सब aerial denudation भी जो है वो भी आपको सिर्फ uncomfortable करने के लिए है. Content wise, if you get, you find the same content there also. Right? Now, in this question, or for that matter, any question, how do I know what is the content required? That's the question. Right? Okay. The answer to this, to me, what comes to me right now is, if you know your syllabus well, and if you have organized your content well, you will know on this, I have this content to give. Whether the content is right or wrong, you might not be able to perfectly decide then. But you will at least know, on this, I have this content to give. That's it. मेरे पास इससे ज़्यादा कुछ है नहीं. Right? Now, should I give or should I not give? Depends on your wisdom at that moment. Which would evolve over a period as you will prepare. I don't have a fixed answer for this right now. I can give you an answer for your question, specific question, but I cannot give you an answer कि sir, how will I come to know? मुझे वहाँ कैसे पता चलेगा कि यही आंसर है? वो प्रिपरेशन से ही पता चलेगा. आपको एटलीस्ट इतना जरूर पता होगा, डू आई हैव कंटेंट ऑन दिस और नॉट। इतना तो पता चल जाएगा ना कि इस पे कुछ जानता हूं या नहीं जानता हूं। अब उसको लिखना है नहीं लिखना है इज योर डिलेमा, राइट? दैट इज द चांस यू नीड टू टेक, and to what level you will take it will depend on your surety. If you will be less sure, you will write less. If you will be more sure, you will write the whole thing. Maximum क्या होगा? Bad day, एक आंसर wrong हो जाएगा, वो तो वैसे भी जा ही रहा था। Yes, yes sir, that's it, right? So questions लें कुछ? Yes sir, some question, yes sir. Yes.
So how are we going to decide that? Because every year
You will decide that on the basis of what UPSC has asked in the last 5 years. How deep have they gone? There's no other way. You see the syllabus and you see, okay, within the syllabus, at what level of depth did I get the content to or answer to this question, and around that, what more content lies?
just like American question, generally that is not supposed. That is not.
It's not supposed, matlab we until unless it was asked, you did not assume that they will be asking, right?
So if you are going to cover the German, British, and school in every of the topic,
There are just two. Actually, there you have basically two schools. One is your British school, which is the old school, right? And the other one is the American school, which even the Germans follow, or the continental Europeans follow. That is the division. Okay. The older one, the older school or the British school talks in terms of the old land concept, in terms of the land having eroded, and on that you have some deposition. Whereas the second one talks, which is the American school, is basically your Davissian school. So आप explain वहाँ पे Davissian ही कर रहे हो concept, right? Which is about the plateaus degradation over a period. ठीक है? I'm sorry. I mean, to be honest, see, these are very vague questions. That's why I said there is no one session which can give you that's it kind of a feel in geography. That's it feeling will happen only with your preparation over time. You should only know how do I organize myself, right? And this session was more so about how do you organize yourself so that your answer is close to or as close as possible to what best you can deliver, right? So it was more about what best you can deliver within this time frame. It's not about the best answer. That I think there is no best answer also for any topic. 5 people, 5 different answers, same score, right? So I cannot say that his answer is better than his answer, because both of them are getting almost same score. Do we get this? So there is no one best answer for any topic, right? Now there are some online questions. Vision, can we write about scholar theories in simplified terms? This is an online question. I'll read it first and then we'll say, can we write about scholar theories in simplified terms, or do we need to copy cut from the book? You need to copy cut the name, you need to copy cut the paper's name, you need to copy cut the year, and you need to copy cut the evidences and the hypothesis. Those you cannot create on your own, right? Anything else, you are allowed some modification, right? So I think that's the answer to that. The second one is, there are 3 questions. Second is, answer this: diagrams versus theory ratio in the answer. Yes, sir. So what should be the ratio of diagrams to theory? Huh? Should we make it saturated? Should the dew point arrive? Or should we keep what should be the ratio? Relative humidity कितना होना चाहिए ताकि रेनफॉल हो जाए मार्क्स का? 100% डायग्राम बना दो, saturation, dew point, examiner will give you all 10. Right? There is no answer to this also. But only thing I can say is, do not create a diagram just because you can draw that continent. Right? Draw only if you have something to show, because let me tell you this also. Your diagram is something that can get you marks, and your diagram is also something that can, get you lesser marks. Because if you are not drawing the right thing, and if you have drawn only for the sake of drawing, as an examiner, if I'll open the copy, I will see, मुझे दिखेगा यार कॉन्टिनेंट तो बनाया लेकिन दिखाया क्या है, तो जबरदस्ती डायग्राम बनाया है, आई विल अंडरस्टैंड रबिश. सेकेंड इज कॉन्टिनेंट बनाया और गलत जगह दिखा दिया है, मीन्स अच्छा था लिख देते, मे बी वो नहीं पढ़ पाता. ठीक है. सो इफ यू डोंट नो देन ऑल्सो डोंट ड्रॉ. ड्रॉ ओनली इफ यू नो. Develop a orientation of drawing, not a necessity of drawing. Is that okay? So if you know something to draw in an answer, then only draw. मतलब भैया जबरदस्ती बना बना करके मैंने 5 डायग्राम सीख के आया था, आज 5 बना के जाना है, ऐसा नहीं करिए. You don't get marks for that. 50 diagram, 50 writing, 70 diagram, 30 writing, I don't know what to say, right? Content wise, so as I said, percentage wise I cannot give you a value. It completely depends on the need of the question. Can flowchart be used to replace paragraphs and answers? Perfectly. This is a GS kind of a question. Flowchart can replace anywhere your content, provided your flowchart is a flowing chart. Matlab if the flow in the chart is gone, then it will be the a wrong type of edible chart, उससे number नहीं मिलेंगे. ठीक है, तो it has to be a proper flowchart. That's it, I think. So these online questions taken. What more? Any questions? Now you ask me whatever you feel like. Just allow me, because I've already heard you. Then we'll come to you. What is the ideal preparation time? Is completely based on how fast you can comprehend. Right? So some people can comprehend the syllabus in 3-4 months. My first student, 2009, Nivedita Swain, she was an engineer. I don't remember from where, and she was a distant learning program student. So she covered geography, and she picked geography after prelims, gave the mains, got selected. She did not do geography, and she was my first student also. So I remember her always, right? Because that's the best example I can give you from people whom I know. The first people, right? Syllabus topic, she decided this optional after PT. And at that time you had 2 optionals. I'm talking of 2009, right? So you can clear it. And then there are people who go on preparing and the marks go on going down. Come again? You should approach syllabus wise. You are preparing for geography optional for UPSC exam. Keep that in mind. You are not preparing geography. Right? If you want to become geographer, drop the idea of civil services, which I am sure no one wants to, at least in this class. Everyone is clear. Geography, जिस दिन UPSC ने भगा दिया, आप लोग नमस्ते बोल दोगे. ठीक है ना? So keep that orientation in your head, right? And that is nothing but your questions and your syllabus. So for you, what you have to prepare is the questions, the syllabus, and the expected questions in this kind of a format. That's it. You have to, if you see the questions asked in India paper of late and the human geography part of late, many questions require current content. Without that, the answer is not complete. So books come only, specifically India, human part. Books do not give you answer now. You have to add up from other sources. You don't have, no, I'm not saying you, sorry, you don't want to approach? I'm not saying notes. You can just pick up the syllabus and see the kind of questions. Just like, for example, if you see population questions in last few years, or industry question in last few years, or resource questions, none of them are bookish questions. They have a current orientation. So that much of current you need to pick. That's it. Where you get it from depends on the best source you can. Yes. what should be the approach for geography paper 2 for general question? Very good question. There are two things I will tell you here. If the question is very technical, give a general answer. If the question is very general, give a technical answer. That is where you can score, otherwise you will not be able to score in that specific question. Can we pick up some questions? For example, as I said, that Gangetic region cultural wala question, though that question came in paper 1, not paper 2, or paper 1 ka question tha 2014 ka. But you can pick. I'll just see some questions and we can discuss. So let us say, give me a question, you yourself, if you recall. So that's what, like if they are asking you, as I said, if the question looks very general, like regional development ka hai, okay, if they get into a plan, right, that's where the question is getting technical. They are asking you about the plan, so you don't have to explain the plan completely. They will have, but you have to approach it from a geographical perspective. For example, let me take one question. There was a question, geographical differences are the cause for imbalances. Something like this, there was a question, remember, 2015 mein tha. I'll just pick up the question. I would say this sounded like a very general question. I'll just see, in case I can pick that. Someone remembers that question? Geography creates the regional imbalances or something like this? Huh? Geographical traits are the cause for regional imbalances. Remember there was a question last year ही पूछा हुआ है. Now this question sounds very, कैसा question है ये? Let me ask, the whole class is there. Geographical traits are the cause for regional imbalance. कैसा question है ये? General है, technical है, क्या है? हाँ? Technical है? Geographical traits are causes for regional imbalance. ये एक general type का question है, right? Geographical traits, how they create regional imbalance. Now, if you also write that geographical traits go on to create regional imbalances, aisa vaisa, you will not get marks in this question. How do you get marks? You have to pick different traits, right? You have to take up physical traits in terms of a physical trait कहाँ दिया हुआ है syllabus में? You have to get into the drainage. You have to get into the resources. You have to get into the soil. Do we understand? You have to get into the transportation required development which is possible in a region. From that perspective, you have to answer that how these traits go on to make regional imbalances. सबसे पहला क्या है? Resource itself. Resource distribution in geography is imbalanced. Geography does not ensure uniform resource distribution, whether it is soil or any other resource. So that is where your imbalance starts from, right? Second is the physical features. Physical features themselves go on to create imbalance in terms of climate and other aspects, which further create the imbalance, right? So you have to get into aspects, as I said, not a general answer. Otherwise, nahi milega marks. This is what I meant, that you have to take examples, regions to get mark in such kind of general questions, right? If you just write a polity type of an answer, you won't get marks. वहाँ पे फिर वो 3 नंबर ही मिलेंगे 10 में से, right? So yes, what more? That's it. So with that, yes. Can we write paper 2 related examples in paper 1? For example, बोलो. Obviously, you can take up examples from Chota Nagpur region and give these are the kind of, वो तो दे ही सकते हो, but you can give from global also. But there are much better examples for this, right? If you want to write, let's say in perspective, right? Environmentalism पे लिख रहे हो, या behavioral पे लिख रहे हो, या welfare पे लिख रहे हो, या quantitative पे लिख रहे हो, you can give examples from Indian programs. That is possible. That is good. You are showing that I know that this is how it is being applied as well. So that is good. Same ways, if you are writing an India answer in paper 2, it is good that you go on to reflect that, see, this kind of an industrial settlement फॉर एग्जाम्पल आई थिंक द सेम अभी क्रिस्टॉलर वाला जैसे हम क्वेश्चन डिस्कस कर रहे थे, इन दैट यू हैव अ idea of region of influence that is also mentioned, right? Area of influence that is mentioned, area of influence आपका mentioned है, उसको आप वहाँ पे अप्लाई कर सकते हो। या इंडिया के अंदर जो डेवलपमेंट्स हैं इंडस्ट्रियल रीजन्स के, स्टेट ओरिएंटेड, जैसे हमारे PSU सिटीज जो थे, स्टील प्लांट्स एंड ऑल, सो यू कैन राइट, right? So that's how you can take up example and write that even the models go on to talk of this. Simple, right? So with this we'll come to the end of the session because it was supposed to be till 1 o'clock. If you have any other question, I will take it up, else we'll wind this up. Anything? Yes. In terms of, come again, I didn't get the question, sorry. हाँ. In terms of geography, okay. If nothing strikes you, let me, as I said, talisman type का चीज कोशिश करते हैं. If nothing strikes you there, go with your syllabus, right? आपका syllabus कहाँ से start होता है? Physical setting. So go by how does the physical setting help in your Make in India? Then resource distribution. How does that help? Agriculture. How does agriculture help? Within that, green revolution. How does that help? Right? After that, क्या है? Transportation, industries. Pick up, you get it. ये हो गया paper 2. Same ways paper 1 you can pick. Right? Physical, climate, oceans. So the coastal factor will come into play. जैसे ही ocean सोचोगे याद आएगा ना यार कुछ coastal dimensions है. So your syllabus itself will help you, provided we remember. You can collate in terms of spatial. First, see, geography is all about spatial, right? So first in geography it has to be spatial application. Then you have to recall, okay, out of my syllabus, does anything from perspective help me in this? Does anything from models help me in this? Right? So that's how you can come up with different examples. You will find point, I assure you. अगर सिर्फ syllabus याद है आपको point आएगा ही आएगा. ठीक है? So that will be the best. Regional development है, let us say. So you talk of regional development. आपका regional development के syllabus में क्या क्या दिया हुआ है? Multi-level planning, right? Region level planning. So they have given already. वही सब याद करके लिख दोगे तो आंसर बन जाएगा. Right? Good. So thank you. That's it.